History remembers what happened, but it is shaped by moments when everything could have turned another way. A decision, a journey, a single moment. This is where we explore them. When history turned. I sometimes wonder whether morning routines would feel different if a city we take for granted had maintained its own institutions. Is there a reality where that small shift changed the coffee I buy, the routes I take, the languages on the tram?
In a city that looks familiar, a woman named Marta fills her wrong side pockets with espresso receipts and a municipal transit card stamped with a crest you do not know. She speaks to customers in the language she learned at school, and the day opens with a radio announcement that mentions a regional parliament in the plural. The flags on the lampposts are older, not new heraldry, but the same banners you would see in 17th century chronicles, and the street signs are in a single, living language that many of us here would call historic. People queue at a tax office that bears the name of a historic council, rather than the national ministry. She uses a banking app that connects to regional bonds, trades in ports that still answer to a local admiralty, and her employer pays social contributions to an institution with a name that has survived for centuries. The day is ordinary, trains run, the sea smells the same, but the ordinary institutions are different.
That is precise in detail. The crest, the surviving institutions, the admiralty. You are cataloging mechanisms, not myths. At which moment did those mechanisms diverge? When did this city keep the rights you describe?
I will offer more fragments. The navy that docks at the port carries ensigns, different from the national fleet. Roads are maintained by a local road board. Commercial treaties are negotiated in a chamber whose charter predates the modern state. The architecture shows investments from a local treasury through the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Do you see a pattern in those fragments?
I see continuity where we have rupture. Municipal treasury, local navy, a chamber negotiating treaties. Those imply that local legal frameworks, the civil code and fiscal autonomy, persisted across the 18th century. That suggests a single decisive failure or success very early on. A military or political event whose outcome determined whether those medieval and early modern rights were extinguished or preserved. In our timeline, in the early 18th century, the war for the succession culminated in sieges and capitulations that rewrote the legal map. A decisive siege in the summer of 1714 terminated local institutions in some cities and led to the imposition of a centralized administrative model. Those were not abstract shifts. They replaced parliaments, suppressed local law, dissolved consular rights, and rewired fiscal flows toward the crown.
So the change was concrete. The city did not capitulate in the summer of 1714. From that moment, the institutional chain remained intact. With that divergence identified, we can compare the two lines of history across centuries and see how a single military outcome amplified into enduring institutions. In the 18th century, after 1714, in our timeline, the victors implemented uniform laws and fiscal centralization. In the alternate line, the surviving city retains its council, its courts, and its customs. That means trade agreements negotiated through the local chamber continue, and the port remains a semi-autonomous hub. In the 19th century, as industrialization arrives, capital flows into a city that controls tariffs and local investment policy. Local shipyards expand under regional naval authority. In the 19th and 20th centuries, political alignments diverge too. National consolidation in our line leads to uniform conscription and centralized political parties. In the alternate line, regional militias and local governments transform into political alliances that negotiate federal arrangements. During the 20th century, shocks, economic crises, and continental conflicts, both realities undergo stress. But institutions that have continuity tend to be more flexible in bargaining power. By the 21st century, the differences are tangible in everyday life. Education systems that prioritize the regional language and history, public signage that reflects older statutes, local pensions managed by regional funds, and a richer plurality of legal instruments for businesses trading through the port. Economically, some industries cluster differently because local tariff regimes and investment incentives persisted.
Look back at the opening question. The coffee, the tram, the language you hear on the radio. Those small experiences are the surface of an institutional archipelago. A single military decision in 1714 shaped who retained authority to set the school curriculum, who levied taxes, who built ports and roads. The everyday follows the institutional scaffolding.
If this wasn't the only timeline you'd like to visit, subscribe.